Hello. Welcome. So this is video number 2 because video number 1, I stopped. I stopped in my own uncomfortability and I'm working on it. So I don't know if that is ever going to be shared. We'll see the development of that, okay? But anywho, welcome. If you know of a good mic for me to use, kindly put it in the comments, please. I am doing no research, but asking. And then if you send an idea for me, I'll look into that. Because I need a good microphone, right? Okay, thank you. That just came out of nowhere, but sure. So welcome. This is an revolutionary channel offering loads of manna for your whole. When I say whole, that means mind, body, heart, and soul. The best labeling device of linguistics that I can give it in terms of vision, so that you can understand the multidimensionality of wholeness that is being represented in each of those labeling compartments. That still is not enough to convey what whole really is all about. But it's a starting point. It's a place. I guess I'm supposed to talk about this. Okay, whatever. So am I slightly, could be, disappointed in not completing the video, because I could have, but I shut down, right? I shut it down mid-video without any warning. I just stopped it and decided no. Although I thought I was going to give it a go and just do, I found myself hot and bothered that I just did what I could do, because I can shut it off if I want to, right? And immediately, even after that, I thought about the disappointment factor of not doing something that I set out to do for good reason, No, not for good reason for shutting it off, for good reason for what I'm set out to do. But the moment that all occurred, channel divine, open his eye to receive the intuitive guidance that I do receive, channel his eye to be conscious of this existence that is deep, right? Into my physique. I don't sleep, right? Like a creep, this multidimensionality that awakens within me, the sense of, whoa, what is this, right? So in that, I was like, I'm not bummed out, I'm not upset, I'm not in any kind of way like disappointed either, you know what I mean? Not at all. But now I'm understanding what this video is going to be about too, in terms of perception and purpose and function and evolution and our ability to stop certain infiltrations of thought into our own being, right? That will align us in full alchemy, healthy alchemy. You know what I mean? And so people are funny, right? So it's like making a movie. That's how I'm gonna take what I can dwell upon and be all hard on myself, right? Oh, you know, unloving, right? I'm like, it's like a movie. There's sometimes so many scenes, and so many times you revise the scene, and so many cuts and acts and edits and that, right? That not every act, cut, makes it into the movie, right? Like something like that. So if it's going to make it into the movie, it will, you know, at its own damn pace. But it goes with the theme, though, of what some of that video was about in terms of thought, which is it's easier said than done, right? Right? Some things can be easier said than done, right? Some things can be easier said than done, right? Some things can be easier said. Here we go. This card, I swear, came out in the last video. So, how can I surrender even more in this moment? Like, seriously. It is essential to have clear, strong intentions of what we desire, but it's equally important for us to detach from the outcome. There we go. It's time to surrender. Let the universe have some breathing room to work. Let go of the wheel and trust so deeply that your trust turns into gratitude for what you cannot yet see. What you know is coming. Know this so deeply that your soul vibrates. You are not alone. Your life has purpose, and the more you surrender, the more God can produce miracles in your life. Today's mantra. I surrender. I accept all that I cannot change. I release the outcome, and I joyfully trust the process. Right? And so it brings me back to an adopting, right? Yeah. What am I grateful for right now? Adopt an abundance mindset. Gratitude is the antidote to all problems. It is impossible to be fearful and grateful at the same time. Gratitude improves our health, opens our heart, and changes our state. Today's soul action. The universal law of attraction says that we attract into our lives that on which we are focused. Close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and think of 3 things for which you are grateful for today. Notice the abundance growing within you. Beautiful. So I am grateful for receptivity, for evolution, for self-love, right? And I am grateful for my ability to surround myself with good, healthy thoughts that support my purpose, life, mission, statement, evolution. Although things can be easier said than done, I am so grateful to be able to be clear with my own purpose, intention, mission, statement, creation, that I consciously align in healthy, wealthy, stealthy ways the clear goals that I have for myself in ways that serve my highest potential purpose, that allow me to evolve. Keep it as simple, right? I go looking into the cycle of a bit, this the abyss of words, but so it's like take two, right? Take two, altering the initial setting of how I'm going about to deliver this message. Hold on, sorry. Oh, sorry. Even though, never think that just because I record, or that I work from home a lot too, that's all I do. Right. Okay. So welcome. Before I'm gonna go at my own pace, place, and how I want to do certain kind of things. I kind of spoke about that in the first video too, about my preference of delivery. I know a lot of people go aesthetically. They seek aesthetic pleasing things that are pleasing to the eyes to deliver, messages and stuff like that. And so I like to play with those kind of things too. But when it comes to like my YouTubes and my lives and all this kind of stuff, I'm unscripted, guys. Like I go in most of the times not even knowing what the topic is going to be about. Like, just like, okay, press record finally, and just start, channeling, babbling, going with the flow. And and then there are times that I do have something in mind, like I had today, and I had it in my mind designed a certain kind of way, and I attempted to do it that kind of way. And as I was in the middle of doing it, I shut down the whole production. Shut it down. It was like, right, it doesn't mean I'm never going to do it again. I have to process that in my own leveling of introspection, reflection, and figure out what is the lesson in that, if there is one, letting go of maybe there isn't, everything doesn't always have to be something, but unless you make it, like, life is what you make it, right? Which brings me back to, it's easier said than done with a lot of stuff too. And just the inner training that I am being guided to start talking more about. And so for me, that requires me to be a little bit more structured than I typically am for myself in terms of how I do things. Like, I have a lot of, anyways, doesn't matter. I have my own methods and my own madness with certain kind of things, like when I'm doing other things that are not for me, and just my leveling of quality of delivery or work that I do, for a lot of things, it's over the top sometimes, you know, it could be whatever the case may be, but it's been, you know, a drive of mine. Ambitious. I've always been ambitious. I've always had this drive to succeed, you know, beyond my current conditioning, you know, and to rise beyond that, you know, and I've always been determined in that kind of way, which has been very beneficial for me in terms of my career paths, all my career paths that I've been on. I have found levels of success for myself that had allowed me to support my family as a single mother, right? And so, but when it comes to my own creative endeavors or personal businesses, right? I have multiple businesses that I take care of, and I laugh and I giggle at my leveling of organization for it all, because I'm just like, not the top quality like you've given to others. And so there are times that I catch myself being a little bit harder on myself because I have not gifted myself the same amount of drive and effort behind the detailings of many certain kind of things that I have certainly done for other companies and things like that. So, you know, we're each on our, again, own different levelings of development here and stuff like that. But when it comes to these particular videos and things like that, like my YouTube channel wasn't created for aesthetics, or nor was it created as for what was trending or popularity contests. And so I'm understanding that so much freaking better now in terms of receptivity that I receive, or like, you know, knowing what my channel is more about, understanding it finally, right? That there is no comparison. I'm not trying to be like anybody else, and I'm never gonna try and be like anybody else. And you know, tell me when in my timeline have I ever been trying to be like somebody else? Please, go ahead. I want receipts. You know what I'm saying? So this ain't fucking Halloween, okay? There ain't nobody else that more in this world that I've ever wanted to be than myself, even in my own fucked up conditions, okay? So let's not get it twisted about nothing, okay? All right, that I stand pride in my own personal development of evolution. That ain't nobody in this motherfucking planet that I ever want to be other than myself, okay? I say that proudly. You know, I come as I am. Like, I have no freaking makeup on right now. I like come in with stickers on my freaking face. I come in nice sometimes. I come in, you know, makeup, no makeup, like as myself. No, myself. This is on me. On me. I look like this. I'm born like this. Hey, I do the filters too. You know, whatever. I haven't done any kind of like cosmetic thingies or anything like that, touch-ups or whatever. So it's filters for me. Filters is what will help enhance my photos or whatever the case may be whenever I do certain kind of things. I want to get dressed up and like down to the T or put on my makeup. Like, they ain't fudging with me. Like, I'm cute. Like, of course I'm gonna be cute when I get done up. Like, what the fuck? Right, so whatever. It's just getting into the space of a place that I'm in now, which is, listen, wow, like, here it is. This is what I'm all about, okay? Being natural, okay, and authentic to my own discovery, recovery, uncovery of this development that is an evolution, right? That is a revolution in every kind of right of a line. That is me operating in my highest potential at this motherfucking time, right? So it's like, aesthetics, what, please? Okay. You know, it is what it is. But where is all that going? So it doesn't exempt me from sometimes being self-conscious, you know, in terms of doing these things. Like, a lot of it had to do being, you know, self-conscious or self-absent because I'm so conscious of everything else around me. And then, you know, we interpret it like, you know, for ourselves, like the energies that we receive externally, like if we're not conscious about it, identifying the tags that they come from, when we are feeling them, and instead of want to, like, you know, invoke them into our being. Like, you don't have to do that just because you pick up on stuff. Like, you know, a lot of people suffer from anxiety and stuff like that, and they call it anxiety and stuff like that. I did my own personal development studies of anxiety. I really did, like I had a theory. I tested it out more than once to have my own, like, delivery of, you know, understanding what anxiety that many are diagnosed with too and given medication for is really all about. And it's more about your heightened levels of sensitivities to energies all around you that you are picking up on and feeling, but invoking within your own being and interpreting it for yourself, and then trying to understand something that's hard to understand because a lot of the energies that you have and that you're feeling are not yours. But you're trying to, you know, take it in because you feel it. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then you think something's wrong with you, and then you get diagnosed anxiety disorder by all these other different kind of psychological disorders. I'm already like getting over being like that shadow band of like because of the leveling of speech and stuff that I do speak on an evolutionary level. It's not trendy because a lot of my videos require you to mother fudging work on yourself, you know. I do other fun kind of stuff that are trendy and stuff like that. I've done it for years, like, you know what I'm saying. But I do what I want, when I want, how I want. And it's always gonna be like that. Right? Right. So how can I infuse more self-love and compassion into my daily life? If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. Buddha, right? And that's another way to inspire less pressure on yourself in regards to your own spiritual evolution and development. Right, so right, so it's easier said than done. A lot of people are frustrated with themselves, you know what I'm saying, in terms of not being able to get over something. And because that something still affects them, when they know consciously that, oh, they'll be so much better without it infecting them that way, they yeah, so anyway, and so one becomes, you know, a little bit aggressive in their own personal development approach to okay, right, that they become like split in two in regards to what one has to do. And then mental is the mind when one can't get out of their own way at this time, because their levelings of intellectualism has them expecting a certain kind of outcome that they feel they're not having, even with the leveling of effort and work they feel they have put in already up until this point. So it's kind of like a leveling of impatience that becomes unkind, that creates more of that self-sabotaging kind of energy of disappointment or frustration or aggravation to exist, creating further blockages that one knows that they're experiencing and feeling because of their leveling of consciousness that they're allowing themselves to tap into at this time. And so it can be annoying, right? To come across someone that appears to have it all together, and or someone that you know has evolved in such a degree that when you hear them speak or you get into their energy, you're like, it's easier said than done. Oh, it's easy for you to do, you know. And even if you're in the state of consciousness that knows, like, not to be that way, and so you're not, but so you just stay away because you have to work on yourself, so you're going into that hermit mode kind of like way to further attend to your triggers. That's great, you know what I mean? But still, the leveling of mental pattern that exists is the one that beats you up for this, you know. And so I read, am I willing? Am I willing to go the extra mile to do what must be done in order to receive the peace that I seek? In order to receive the energy that I seek? In order to receive the experience that I desire? In order to allow for this to take place, right? Am I willing? You're on the edge of something great. Can you feel it? Yes, there is a risk, uncertainty, and imperfections ahead. Failure is certain and vulnerability is a requirement. You must be brave and trust yourself more than ever before. You will reach the dream, but you must stretch yourself into a whole new level of belief and willingness in order to move forward with courage. Today's soul action. Be brave. Follow your heart's compass and lift the lid on your own dreams. Today's mantra. It's possible, right? So, like, I feel guided, right, to share more in this inner training process, because it's helpful. So you can expect more videos into that department of alchemy. I think those are pretty much all my kind of videos. Now that I'm talking about it out loud and stuff. But I'm gonna be a little bit more purposeful with my clear intention, which is something that up until this point of evolution for my YouTube channel specifically, I have not done. I have not been any kind of leveling organized in my YouTube airing, because it has always been a push from spirit to get me to do this, and it wasn't a walk in the park process. When I started to become comfortable just recording, somewhere I lost sight of the purpose, because it was never clear to the human when I first started it, because I was so busy resisting the guidance, that I missed the message, the lesson. And so that evolution of growth is showing itself to me now. But remember, my channel too, it's unscripted, and it's going to remain to be unscripted, because that's just solidified into my being in regards to the leveling of authenticity that I'm just adamant on. Part of my own evolution, development, and behind the scenes work has been to be able to express, to be able to convey, to be able to transmute, to be able to script and speak in such a way that was only alchemy, right? And creating this alchemy of communication required me to dive deepest into spaces that were not the easiest for me to travel through, right? And to bear it all, right? Part of my argument with Spirit has been, how do you want me to speak true and watch my language? It should be fucked up. How can I be real and still watch my tongue? I was a hothead. I was very young. You know what I'm saying? So, but because that was part of my evolutionary growth, to dive into those dimensions of evolution, right? Come a long way. Okay, so right, it's easier said than done. So before this video, I was doing another video, and I was doing something else on top of that video that seemed like a good idea. I still had the experience. I didn't really care for the experience though, because I was uncomfortable. And I'm gonna process that, introspect on that, and pick up. I received already a few things like about that for me, right? But it's easier said than done, right? So I'm still here doing it. I readjusted my sails. That's part of too, the surrender to this vulnerability that you have to be on in regards to developing a consistency with your deliberateness that requires you to take action in spaces, places that happen in your now time, that require you to activate its energy into your field, sphere of energy, influence, and existence. But it's up to you, right? It's up to you to do what you must do in order to activate the energy you're giving to something to be created. And so it can be a challenge to get out of our own way. And so I want to, so yeah, that too, I guess I want to do that. Oh, okay, I want to help in that department. Been helping in that department, but now I want to take active, I want to take an active approach, a present day approach to what I've been doing. And I guess that's where I'm being guided. I guess it's for me. I guess this video could be for me too, but I'm gonna upload it anyways. It's all for yourself, whatever it is that you do, because what you do for you, you allow for that to further expand. That if you were a humanitarian in that kind of department too, then know that what you give to yourself, you give to the world, if you so choose. Some people would want to selfishly keep it all for themselves, then let them be. Ask their department of evolution for them to go through, and who are we to say that they're wrong for that? Maybe they had to go through that. Maybe in another lifetime they didn't have it like that, and in this lifetime they were allowed to indulge, and maybe in the next lifetime they have to learn to balance it out. But remember, we're not here to determine when that lifetime exists for them. It could happen in this lifetime, it could not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has their own purpose, plan, journey, function, role to wake up to in their own time, right? So a lot of people are waking up, and because they're waking up and it's a lot that you receive all at once, you have this heightened expectancy to shift automatically within yourself, that people get frustrated. Like in the other video, I had mentioned that someone that I work with behind the scenes in terms of emotional development and evolutionary development, things like that. Like I do a lot of variation of things. Like it's not just one thing, and I tailor fit every session that I do, like whether it's like my Zoom lives and things like that. It's always tailor fit to you. Yeah, I have people that call me for that we're on for readings and those kind of guidance. Yeah, but a lot of that, if it hasn't already happened, like comes from a reading. Like someone wants a little bit more development in their own evolution, and finds our sessions to be so helpful and energetically healing that they want more. So everything gets tailor fit to everyone's personalization, their needs, their wants, their budget, and all that kind of stuff. I don't like when it comes to things like that where we're doing something on a consistent basis behind the scenes. That's tailor fit to you in every kind of way, even budgeting wise. You know what I'm saying? But I have my services that are like, I put slots of times that you can pay for. So you're paying for a slot of time with me, and then in your booking, you'll tell me what that slot of time you want to utilize it for. And so that is how those occur and stuff like that. So yeah, the popular ones are the readings. Like, people want channelings, readings, and guidance in that kind of way. But there are a multitude of things that I do that go beyond just a reading, that people want too, and stuff like that. And so one of it is, like coaching development, inner training you to tap in to the most healthiest of behaviors, patterns, and new conditionings that you are setting for yourself. And I work a lot with shadow work and transmutations and things like that, and helping one to identify the certain kind of things that they can do for themselves, if so they want to do for themselves, right? So I someone that I have worked with behind the scenes, I haven't worked with this person in a while, contacted me and sent me a message saying that because they're right now off social medias, which is sometimes what we need to do. We need to hermit ourselves, right? We gotta tap out in order to tap in, right? And so and they gave me a quick update of what's happening behind the scenes in their personal relationship at this time, and wanted to let me know that my wand has been very energetically helpful to them during this tough transitionary period. And also they wanted to make a note that based off of the last session that we had, the notes that they took, and they've been since that time actively purposefully working on and applying, that they're still challenged with doing those things at this time, right? And whatever the case may be, I'm not trying to divulge other people's business that has nothing to do with that, but and then it matches some other persons that I speak to, work with, whatever the function, reason behind me even hearing any of this kind of dialogue and frustrations or challenges that other people are currently going through collectively, right? It's in the expectancy department, right? So a lot of frustration, aggravation, disappointments come up during these challenging moments of transition, transformation, transmutation time, because many are holding on to this idea, whatever that is for them, right, of this imagery of outcome that they don't clearly have for themselves, but it's just an idea. It's like Phantom of the Opera kind of thing, right? It's like, wait. I'm gonna pause it because hi. Okay, so back. So right. So a lot of more heaviness is experienced for many sometimes because of their idea or leveling of comparison or expectancy that, although unclear about what that is and what that looks like, what that feels like, what that tastes like, right? It's like, say, oh, I just want to be happy, right? And then, experiencing not happy things every day, and then focus on that, and then being upset that you put in work to be happy, right? But the external reality is not matching the work that you feel you have put in into this part. 555, literally 555. Doesn't match the outcome of desire one wishes to be now experiencing, right? And so when I did my live this week with Manifestation Maven, we ended up getting so engrossed into our topics of experience, conversation, and we just intuitively rolled with it, and ended up not even discussing the chapter we were on. But either way, Ask and It Is Given, the live book club that we had this last week that we had, I'll post a link on this here too, was week number 10. And there are massive amounts of mana in there for your whole evolution, for those that it's for, you know what I'm saying? And so she said something to me in the midst of one of my shares and stuff like that, that was highlighted for me, in regards to thanking me for sharing as I did, because pretty much you wouldn't know that, you know. And and the leveling of experience, or just inner training, that one must have to be able to operate in now that kind of way. People don't realize the amount of effort, the amount of inner training, the amount of work, the amount of action, the amount of time it has taken to even be in the state of alchemy and alignment, to just naturally behave in such a way, right? Because one can just be like, oh, you know, oh, she thinks she's a perfect. Oh, Miss Know-it-all, Miss Do Goody, you know, or just, you know, ideas and misconceptions people can have about your current position, although it shouldn't matter, granted. But it was insightful for me, because part of my journey too reminds me of this line in Meg Thee Stallion's song. I don't know which song, but I just heard the line right now, and it was I should have, instead of teaching you hoes, I should have been reading you, bitch. Right? Like something like that. I don't know. I could have butchered the line right now, but I heard it in my mind, right? And so and instead of teaching you, I should have been reading you, bitch, right? And how can I phrase those? Right, so patience, okay, okay. So like the introspection of reflection and lessonings plans opening up for me based off of just her input about that. Because, you know, I'm intuitive, we dive in, we see a little bit deeper, you know what I mean? And I'm well aware that when I do share some of my history, yes, the people that did not know me or know of anything of my history are usually shocked by my experience that they then, whatever preconceived ideas they may have had about me up until that point, go down the drain, right? And many often realize the evolution that has occurred in my own development. That, yes, that they usually develop a newfound like leveling of like respect or acknowledgement, you know. And I don't seek that leveling of approval, or I don't need it. I don't, you know, I don't crave it. It has nothing to do with that. But now that I am here, present in the consciousness development, I am allowed to travel through certain spaces of time to get better in-depth understanding to my own personal development too. So insights received from others is helpful to me and welcome for me at this time, because it allows me to then further dive deeper into my own personal development. That is what I'm here to share. So I'm thankful for that, because I like receiving direction in these sharings, because I am not willing to divulge. I'm not forthcoming with my own personal stories, because now that I am receiving just even insight, trying to articulate it now in this video, part of my lifelong training has been to act in accordance to the energy that which I desire to inspire and be. There's no dwelling here. Even though we all have our moments, right? We all have our moments. I sure as hell had mine. I just had mine really young though. I had mine really young. And I had the psychological development of these processes activated really young. And so, although somewhere in the span of growth, what I had intuitively and already had known from childhood got lost in translation in my adult years, although I stayed on the path, right? And so now it's in this new awakened conscious development for myself that I am consciously present, no longer tapping out while the channel takes over. And so it's very interesting, right, to live this leveling of consciousness and multi-dimension, and be asked, prompted to share it. It's not a comfortable experience, because I have strong behavioral patterns and tendencies to hermit and keep every motherfudging thing to myself. Word life, right? That's my comfort zone, right? My comfort zone is privacy, right? So so I started the first video inspired to explore this topic in a new way, in an uncomfortable setting, which was live too. While recording it here too and doing this whole kind of stuff, and mid-live just shut down the whole system. It could have went a number of ways in my own mental state of expectancy of how I should behave, especially at this point in time. Like, there was no reason for that, right? But there is. Right? So I guess the evolution of this channel as well is to highlight, even just for me, this transformation chamber that's happening now, that because part of my own starting of YouTube too was I'm not allowed to delete any of the videos. So all of my videos, even if some are private, there was some that I got away with putting private. There was one that I put private just because that was, out of all the freaking videos I did, that was when I was hacked. That was like a few years back, and my Instagram got hacked. And it was taken from me, and I flipped the fudge out because I have worked so, like I love my Instagram. Like I was saying, I don't think it was in this video. It was the first video that I was talking about my first dive into social media land, and Instagram being the first real place that I liked. And when that happened, I didn't know it was even public. I didn't know anything about that. It's just I found a platform that I liked using, and so I used it. But hold on. I don't even remember what I was saying. A life of greater joy, power, and satisfaction awaits those who consciously design their life. Thank you. That's what I was talking about, right? So now that I'm in a different state of evolution of my own personal experience and consciousness, there is a new development of evolution happening here for me and my own video share. I don't know. In my own style of delivery. Although it's still going to remain evolutionary and unique. It's still going to all be like, not, it's not about scripting. It's not about what's trending and all this kind of stuff, because in this development of evolution, then this is the least trendy of video hits and links, because all my channels, and everything that I share, it requires you to put in the effort, the work, the evolution in you to take action, to do what you need to do, to alchemize within you the things that you need to do. So it's not for everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be for whomever needs to receive it and hear it and receive whatever mana that it is that they're going to be receiving for them on their evolutionary journey. And that's going to be different for everybody. I have always been ahead of my time. This is no different. I'm accepting of that at this time because I'm understanding better my position. Before, I was trying to get comfortable in uncomfortable setting, and so I did my own behavioral pattern and conditioning that I'm used to, which is, that Piscean water, escapism. So yeah, I might be doing what I'm supposed to be what I'm being divinely guided to do, but it doesn't mean that I used this leveling of consciousness to act and alchemize for myself. It means I was taking baby steps. It means everything still wasn't perfected, right? But I still took action in that. So even though I was uncomfortable in all my earlier videos and stuff like that, and as much as I fought behind the scenes and complained and all this kind of stuff, but still had every intention to do what was required of me to do, when I was doing that, it brings me back to all my speeches and all the performances that I have done throughout the years. I'm there, but I'm tapped out in order to deliver what I need, and I have pushed myself to deliver. That was uncomfortable for me. This leveling state now, and this has been going on for a while, I'm just now finding the articulation for it because I've gone through. Like, you're never going to catch me in a state of explanation that I'm currently now in. If there's anything that I'm currently now explaining to you, it's because it's already passed through and it's coming through, and it's a different development too. So my ability to be able to articulate and share and develop it from there. So it's like me back in the day, like if I shared any part of my traumatic experience or part of my life, it has been after the fact, not during the fact. Right? After the fact. So to stand emotionally open before the world and give of our hearts without fear or hurt or demand of reciprocity. This is the ultimate act of human courage. Owning this life truth is freeing. I am not in charge of or responsible for the wrecks others have created in their lives, and I do not need to save everyone in my life. Right? To stand here. I won't let others stoke fear in my heart. I choose to remain true to who I am and where my dreams direct me, no matter the hardship I might incur. Right? It's freeing. It's all freeing. And so now this leveling of evolutionary development with no escapism, right? I heal. Allowing all the multidimensionals to exist here and still be present without feeling the need to tap out, and because I'm asked not to. So so that's interesting, right? So with that being said, right, what was I saying? I'm just updating. This is like an update. This is an update. I don't know what this is, but this is like an update. We do not need to wait for perfect conditions. We will find perfection in the progress. Right? Exactly. So it was a whole developmental process, right? But it took steps in the right direction that I was being guided to take to do. Even when my world was falling apart. Even when it didn't make sense to, hey, get involved in this, do this, share this, like whatever. I'm like, fuck no. What's your problem? I have my own shit to tend to, right? But when I am realizing the human, not the whole, because the whole already knew, but the human is waking up to the orchestration of what's happening here, right? The articulation of what's happening here, the intellectualism that is happening here, the lessons that are being shared here in teachable format, right? Because I tend to not be so organized in my own structure because I'm a freestylist. That's it. I'm an 80s baby, right? So freestyle classics up in here. We move how we flow, baby, there. You know what I'm saying? So it just be like that. And I'm not buckling on that because I operate better this way because it's just the natural flow of things. I'm not trying to sell anything except real in whatever shape, form, video it comes out, in whatever way it's expressed. It's real, you know. And I'm like an adrenaline junkie in that kind of way. It's better to be unprepared and just go see how it goes, right? Which is kind of like what happened to this one beforehand, and it reminded me of how that can go. But I like that I was able to stop it, and where before maybe I wouldn't have, or like, you know, or just like got stuck, or like made it worse, or maybe continued and finished through and everything would have been good, and you know, whatever the case may be. But that's not what I did. I stopped it. I stopped in the middle of production without any warning. I stopped it on all platforms. And it's okay. It's okay to be ready when you feel ready. But it's not okay to do nothing till then. And if you are doing a bunch of something, even if you're still challenged by the experience, by the lesson, by the new that you're attempting to create for you, then know that you're doing enough. And if you feel that you could be doing more, then do more. And if you can't, or you don't, or you won't, then find a healthier mental game to play with yourself than to be unkind to you in any kind of way by feeling disappointed, or like not lazy, or not good enough, or developed enough. Like, part of what I was saying before the other time that I think I had paused was about the energies, that if I was able to just highlight one important common energy shared amongst those that are challenged right now with certain experiences that they might be experiencing that are creating inner conflict, right? Because you could be in the position right now that you are being the example that you need to be, but in here it's not working out. And so the challenge and the frustration of what you're doing and what you're thinking, they're not a match, which is what's creating conflict, right? When you're acting a part but thinking in a different way, it's creating turbulence in every kind of way. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I wanted to And I'm guided to share more videos with more topic structure. Although it'll be still freestyle and all that kind of stuff, but a little bit more deliberate in the direction of topic that will be discussed in each video. Not in all, in the ones that will be. For those that who use these videos in their life to help further evolutionize their own development and journey behind the scenes. And I would also advise, if you have any challenges with your own mind, body, heart, and soul infused experience, right? I have so many videos going back to like 2016 that have so many pockets of manna, of inner sight, wisdom, things for you, practical things for you to do in everyday land that doesn't require a candle, sage, anything in that kind of spiritual way that is symbolic in every kind of way that is good. I use these things, but finer tuning the mental part of this evolutionary development that is creating certain challenges for many that are on their path of righteousness, evolutionary development that is more healthier than what they are conditioned to know, and offering this leveling of energy of support that is supportive in one's own transformations, evolution, and journey. It wasn't until recently that I rediscovered my purpose on here. And it hit me, I'm like, right. And then it still didn't even hit me that it's always been about that. Because I forgot about the beginning. And now it's like, oh, so this is like what some would call rebranding. But I'm not rebranding. I'm still myself. But it's a, it's a shared process of this progress. Right? It's easier said than done. And we're gonna get the shit done. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's freedom and victory belong to those who remain strong and true despite temptation. True that. Getting into the evolution of thought that influences emotion and mastering its navigation for your own healthy development. And that's just going to require a little extra effort of conscious action and deliberate action of you, and a certain leveling of surrender to be vulnerable to the new, that it's going to definitely always feel uncomfortable, especially when it's new. But what you gonna do? Let us believe faithfully that our dreams are worthy of any struggle, and that it is our time to free ourselves and rise to glory. Greatness belongs to those who have mastered the ability to focus relentlessly on their ambitions and act decisively toward them. Love is always the final and most complete cure to our inner demons. Oh, yeah. We have forgotten that the natural foe to life is not a distant death, but a present, in the moment detachment from living. What? Right? When our hearts yearn for action and growth, we should care little about what society says is possible or prudent. Right? Right. So, so I want to get back into the energy of the beginning. But this time, I'm here. And it's, I was there, in there too, but it was different. It was way different. I was getting comfortable with channeling publicly. I didn't need to be here for that. Although I was. In a different kind of way. We do not need more time. We need a stronger reason to act so that we use time more effectively. I'm going to end that here because I have to start getting ready. We do not need more time. We need a stronger reason to act so that we use time more effectively. That's powerful. We do not need more time. We need a stronger reason to act so that we use time more effectively. So mote be, so more be. Say it slowly. Okay. Till next time.